Welcome back to my channel. Today we're heading into the heart of the American plains to meet a creature so powerful it once shaped an entire continent's ecosystem, the American bison. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this animal was hunted to the edge of extinction, how it clawed its way back, and why scientists say bison might be one of the most misunderstood giants on Earth. Let's get into it. Let's start with something that shocks almost everyone. The American bison is the largest land mammal in North America. A fully grown male, called a bull, can weigh over 2,000 pounds. That's nearly a ton of muscle, bone, and thick fur standing right in front of you. And here's the part that surprises people. Despite that massive size, a bison can run up to 35 miles per hour. That's faster than a racehorse over short distances. Most predators, including wolves, think twice before testing that speed. Now picture this. 200 years ago, an estimated 30 to 60 million bison roamed the Great Plains of North America. That's not a typo. 60 million. Early explorers described herds so massive that they took days to pass a single point, stretching from horizon to horizon like a moving brown ocean. The ground would literally shake under their hooves. Some accounts describe the noise as sounding like distant thunder that never stopped. But here's where the story turns dark. By the late 1800s, that number had collapsed to fewer than 1,000 bison in the wild. Let that sink in. From 60 million to under 1,000 in less than a century. This wasn't due to disease or climate. It was almost entirely due to human hunting, much of it deliberate. Bison were slaughtered not just for meat and hides, but as a military and economic strategy to destroy the primary food source of Native American tribes who depended on the herds for survival. It remains one of the most devastating ecological collapses in recorded history. Let's talk about the body of this animal, because it's built like nothing else on the plains. Bison have a massive hump on their shoulders, but that hump isn't fat. It's muscle, supported by long vertebrae, and it powers their front legs like a battering ram. This is why a bison can swing its head and plow through snowdrifts several feet deep just to reach grass underneath. In winter, when other animals struggle to find food, bison simply put their heads down and shovel through snow using pure muscle. It's one of the reasons they survive brutal plains winters that kill weaker species. Here's a fact that surprises almost everyone. Bison are excellent swimmers. Despite their bulk, they can cross fast-moving rivers without hesitation, using their powerful legs to fight strong currents. Herds have been recorded swimming across rivers over 100 meters wide during migration, calves included. It's a strange sight. A 2,000-pound animal gliding through water like it weighs nothing at all. Now let's talk about their horns, because bison behavior around threats is deeply misunderstood. Unlike cattle, bison are wild, unpredictable, and incredibly fast to react. Wildlife parks across the United States post repeated warnings because visitors underestimate them, treating bison like slow, docile cows. They are not. A bison can pivot, charge, and gore a threat in seconds, and their strength is enough to flip a car. Every year, there are incidents of tourists getting seriously injured after approaching bison for photos, refusing to believe an animal that looks so calm could turn dangerous in an instant. But bison aren't just powerful, they're also surprisingly intelligent in how they organize themselves. Herds are typically led by older, experienced females, not the largest males. These matriarchs decide when to move, where to graze, and how to respond to danger. Males often live separately in smaller bachelor groups for most of the year, only rejoining the main herd during mating season, known as the rut, which happens in late summer. During the rut, bulls compete through deep bellowing roars and head-to-head clashes that can be heard from over a mile away. Now here's something most people never learn in school. Bison are considered a keystone species, meaning their presence keeps an entire ecosystem alive. As they graze, they trim grasses in a way that promotes healthier plant diversity. Their hooves till the soil, helping seeds germinate. Their wallowing behavior, rolling in dirt to shed fur and deter insects, creates shallow depressions in the ground called buffalo wallows. These wallows collect rainwater and become tiny wetland habitats for insects, amphibians, and birds. In other words, one bison rolling in the dirt can end up creating a home for dozens of other species. Remove bison from the plains, and the entire ecosystem starts to change. Let's go back to their near extinction, because the recovery story is honestly one of the most remarkable conservation efforts in history. By the 1880s, with wild populations nearly wiped out, a small group of conservationists and ranchers began actively protecting and breeding the last remaining bison. Yellowstone National Park became one of the last strongholds where a tiny wild population survived. Organizations began captive breeding programs, slowly building numbers back up from genetic bottlenecks so narrow that today's bison actually carry traces of cattle DNA from early crossbreeding attempts made during the recovery effort. Today, thanks to decades of conservation work, there are more than 350,000 bison in North America. That sounds like a huge recovery, but here's the shocking part. The vast majority of those live on ranches, raised commercially rather than roaming wild. Truly wild, free-ranging bison herds now make up only a small fraction of that number, protected mainly in places like Yellowstone National Park, where roughly 4,000 to 5,000 bison still roam freely, the closest thing left to the ancient herds that once shook the ground of the Great Plains. There's also a cultural side to this story that deserves attention. For centuries, bison were central to the survival, spirituality, and identity of many Native American nations across the Great Plains. Nearly every part of the animal was used: meat for food, hides for shelter and clothing, bones for tools, and even the tail used as tools for other tasks. The near extinction of the bison wasn't just an ecological tragedy, it was a direct attack on entire cultures that depended on them. In recent decades, several tribal nations have led their own bison restoration programs, reintroducing herds onto tribal lands as both an ecological and cultural revival. Now let's talk about one more shocking fact before we wrap up. Bison calves are born a bright orange-red color, earning them the nickname Red Dogs. Within a few months, their coat gradually darkens into the deep brown we associate with adult bison. Scientists believe this striking color difference may help mothers identify their calves within a massive, chaotic herd, and it might also serve as a visual signal to other herd members that a calf needs extra protection. So why does the bison story matter so much today? Because it's proof of two things happening at once: how quickly humans can destroy something that took millions of years to build, and how, with real effort, we can bring a species back from the edge of oblivion. The bison isn't just a symbol of the American plains anymore. It's a warning and a hope, standing together in the same enormous, thundering body. If you learned something new today, don't forget to smash that like button. It really helps this channel grow. If you're new here, hit subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you never miss our next wild adventure. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for being part of this journey with me. Drop a comment below and let me know which animal you want me to cover next. I read every single one. See you in the next video. Take care and stay wild.